A very good afternoon to everyone. I, Divya Sajdev, and my colleague Mayuk Mandal, students of ASM IPR, welcome you all for Digital HR Meet conducted by ASM Group of Institutes for Management Students. It's a great opportunity for us to host this wonderful and enthusiastic event. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome our chairman, Dr. Sandeep Pandey, who is an academician, entrepreneur, real estate developer, technopreneur, mentor, author, keynote speaker, agriculturist, and a visionary. Dr. Sandeep Pandey has completed his senior executive leadership program from Harvard Business School, Boston, USA, and is a Harvard Business School alumni. A PhD from one of the top 10 universities of India, University of Pune. Sir has also authored many books on a wide range of subjects, case studies in management, enterprise resource planning, data mining and data warehousing, etc. Dr. Pachpande associates himself with many charitable foundations, NGOs, and CSR organizations. Sir, I request you to address this esteemed gathering.
A very good afternoon to everyone. And it's indeed a great pleasure for me to be here on one of this first kind of a event of ASM Group of Institutes. And we are very excited to partner with Digital HR and InnoServe to bring these kind of events in the coming years. I think the topic of the webinar today is modern hiring. Is digital transformation the key to attracting the best talent on the market? I think this webinar can offer excellent opportunities for the HR professionals, business executives, as well as students to learn about the best HR practices and discuss the role of HR in the management and the technology strategy. I think we have a very good lineup of speakers who are going to be discussing on these topics. I always believe that technology is going to be one of the key enablers, which is going to bring a change in the way we do things. Already we see that with the maturization of technology and COVID coming in, not only businesses, but business models have changed. And it is the difficult task is on the shoulders of HR people to ensure that they have the HR resources ready to navigate these changes and adapt to those changes and be resilient to what is coming up. I've always believed and said at many forums that what I see is the future CEOs are going to be coming from the CHROs, are going to be the future CEOs, because I think that is one of the key things which is required now by the companies when we are moving into this next world and the challenges which are coming to us. And digitization is going to be a key factor which is going to play a very, very important pivotal role. To the students attending, I always say that they will have to be working in job roles which have never existed today. For example, when we talk of HR managers, I think very soon we are going to be requiring bot managers. So the managers who will be managing the automation bots or the robots who would be working alongside with the humans in the companies. It's a very exciting times coming up, and it is the HR departments and the L&D departments which will have to ensure that they prepare the organizations for that change, and institutions like ASM work towards creating a right workforce which is ready to contribute to the industry in the coming challenges. So I think we have, let me formally welcome Mr. Rajesh Matre, Mr. Basavaraj Bakhali, Mr. Pandurang More, Mr. Nanus Dable, Mr. Suresh Nanavre, Ms. Meena Kulkarni, Neelkanth Shinde, Harshal Sonawane, Rajesh Singh, Mr. Bhim Singh Rajput. I think it's a wonderful lineup. I just can't wait to hear to the other speakers. So let me stop here and welcome you all again for this first session in this digital HR meet. Thank you so much, and look forward to many more interactions in the future.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with your knowledge. It now gives me an immense pleasure to welcome our guests for today. Our first guest of honor is Mr. Rajesh Mhatre. Mr. Rajesh Mhatre is the General Manager IR, Adani Airports, Mumbai International Airports Limited, MEA. He is an experienced HR professional having 29 years of hardcore experience in employee relations and HR. Previously, he was the regional head of ER at Endurance Technologies Limited, which has 23 units across India. He has been heading ER for 3 manufacturing units at Chakan, Pune, handling around 3,000 employees. He was also the core team member of Reward and Recognition Pillar and implemented a common R&R program, Siemens and Purskar, across 19 Siemens entities in India, implemented online e-card system, You Make a Difference. Our next guest of honor is Mr. Nahush Rabe. He is a senior talent acquisition partner, technology sales, cloud platform sales, and IT consulting. As part of IBM India talent acquisition team, he is currently involved in strategic pursuit and project hiring for across Microsoft and Oracle IT skills at IBM India. He has also handled critical accounts for IT hiring for various niche skills through social media channels, employee referrals, and job boards. Also involved into social media recruitment strategy, social sourcing, SM tool selections, candidate engagement, and social media integration. Our next guest of honor is Ms. Meena Kulpan. She's the head of HR, IR, administration, and EHS at AQ Mechanical and Electrical Manufacturing India Private Limited. She's a seasoned HR professional with 14 years of high performance working in various segments of auto engineering business, expertise in business partnering, talent acquisition, technical sourcing, learning and development, OD intervention, compensation and benefits, performance management system, formulated policies, and HR best practices and cultural development. She's also involved in employee satisfaction and engagement survey, strategic HR, compensation survey and benchmarking, employee relations, industrial relations, wage settlement, employee engagement, strong in developing global HR partners, expertise in overseas communication, office administration, and industrial safety. Our next guest of honor is Mr. Neelkant Shinde. He is the founder and director at Transfor Industries Private Limited. He is a proud foodpreneur working on a health mission for conventional processed foods. Early team leadership, expertise in the software engineering domain, and an MBA in general management, supported by strategic marketing role at Electronic Interconnect Corporation. Motivated by self-leadership, Mr. Shinde is working as a thought leader at Transfor on numerous food initiatives. Our next guest of honor is Mr. Bhim Singh Rajput. He is the HR of Tata International Vehicle Applications Private Limited. He is involved in HR, IR, and administration of his current company. Mr. Bhim Singh Rajput holds significant experience in driving overall HR practices, L&D initiatives, competency framework, performance management, coaching, talent management, and leadership development. Mr. Rajput is an experienced HR professional for the last 30 years. He has experience of working with reputed industries like Garbare Ball Ropes Limited, Elpro International Limited, Lucas TVS Limited, and Tata International Vehicle Applications Private Limited. From last 8 years, his area of specialization is HR and IR. Now, I would like to hand over the screen to my colleague, Mandal.
Good afternoon, esteemed ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Divya. I'll be continuing with the introduction of the guest of honor. Our next guest of honor is Mr. Harshal Sonavne. Mr. Sonavne is the lead crop establishment UPL Private Limited. He is an experienced lead with a demonstrated history of working in the agrochemical industry, skilled in rural marketing, market research, business planning, customer service, and sales. Sonavne has a strong business development professional with an MBA in agri-marketing focused in agricultural businesses and management from AISSNS Institute of Management. Our next guest of honor is Mr. Rajesh Singh. Mr. Rajesh Singh is the global head HR at KPIT. Mr. Singh has varied experience across sectors, that is pharma, IT, healthcare, banking, and telecom, encompassing the public sector, civil services, MNCs, and startups in a variety of roles. Having done post-graduation from National University of Singapore on Lee Kuan Yew Scholarship, PGPEX, and from IIM Calcutta and GPHR, Mr. Singh has designed and executed interventions to develop organizational resilience and capabilities aligned with the existing and the emerging trends. Mr. Singh's journey began with the State Bank of India as a probationary officer, and he then moved on to the Government of India through civil services in 2011. He had a brief entrepreneurial stint as co-founder of Olito before joining KPIT. Our next guest of honor is Mr. Nidhi Singh. Mr. Nidhi Singh is the L&D CSR HR professional having experience in sales and marketing. He has over 23 years of experience in training, management, sales, and marketing. Mr. Singh is an innovative, creative, self-confident, and a team player. He is a management-trained professional from the premier institute and centers like IIMA and TMTC. Mr. Singh has analytical problem-solving and communication skills. He is a keen learner in acquiring new information, different perspectives and skills. He is also efficient in relationship management and networking, and a champion in the employment and engagement field. Our next guest of honor is Mr. Sachin Jagirdar. Mr. Sachin Jagirdar is an accomplished HR professional with a blend of manufacturing and corporate handling. He has been entitled to a wide gamut of functions entailing human resources with an overall experience of 12 plus years. Jagirdar possesses a when delivering people management strategies. Mr. Jagirdar has hands-on experience in drafting and modifying the HR policies and processes flow for policies and schemes and their implementation in the organization. He has also exposure to handling performance management systems, preparation of KRAs, and its effective implementation. Our next guest of honor is Mr. Pandurang More. Mr. Pandurang More is an HR professional, entrepreneur, and a social activist. He is currently serving more than 25 corporates and is specialized in hiring entry and mid-level profiles, staffing, technical and non-technical payroll outsourcing, HR audit, and statutory compliances management. Having 15 years of rich experience in HR and industrial relations. He has worked in the manufacturing and service industries and has expertise in the human resource functions. Sir has worked as business head, HR management solutions, and also worked as a manager, HR and admin. He has worked as an HR and IR manager at Trinity India Force Tech Private Limited. Our next guest of honor is Vasavraj Bakali. Mr. Vasavraj Bakali is an assistant general manager at Hindustan Platinum Mumbai. He is an experienced senior human resource professional in manufacturing and corporate. He is a skilled in talent management, industrial relations, personal management, and employee engagement. He has worked as a senior manager in HR as well as industrial relations at Eternis Fine Chemicals Limited and has handled complete HR, IR, and administrative for all manufacturing facilities. He has worked as a senior manager in human resources at Jubilant Life Science Limited, dealing with labor unions, contract labor management, liaisoning, and HR operations. Our next guest of honor is Mr. Suresh Nanavade. Mr. Suresh is working as manager in HR and IR at Yazaki Limited, Pune. He has worked as manager IR at Descartes Industries Private Limited and worked as a deputy manager in HR as well as IR at Supreme Trion Private Limited. Mr. Suresh Nanavade has worked as deputy manager in HR and IR at Ever Electric Private Limited and has also worked as an assistant manager at HR&A at UKB Electronics Private Limited. Thank you all for your kind presence. I would now like to start the session, and I'd like to hand over the screen to our moderator, Mr. Nidesh Singh. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. In fact, it's an honor and privilege to have this esteemed panel. And what I was just going through each one of you, we have got such a diversified experience. So right from that construction to engineering to airport to IT, we are covering almost each and every industry. So thank you so much for inviting me. That reminds me when the pandemic started 2 years back, Satya Nadella quoted, "We have seen 2 years worth of digital transformation in 2 months." And though we were talking about this digitalization and then digitization, automation, etc., but this pandemic has actually taken and it has given in a completely different paradigm shift. So my first thought is that from earlier it was more of a luxury. From luxury it has transformed into necessity. I'd like to know a quick introduction from a few lines, maybe a couple of 60 seconds or 120 seconds about from each one of you. What exactly you're feeling about modern hiring? And my question is that is digital transformation is the key to attracting the best talent on the market? Because we are in HR. And when we talk about HR, H stands from human. And then the human touch is required. So how do we leverage technology and how do we get into digital transformation? I'd like to hear from my co-panelist. You can go any order and you can unmute and you can start. There's nothing like that. I should be having a name calling. Whosoever feels first, you can go ahead and speak. Rajeshji, I feel that you are excited to start with.
Yeah, sure. So thank you, everybody. I mean, already, Nidhi said with the whether we take human resources or whether we take education or entertainment or retailing or even health sciences, medical, you name a field, because pandemic forced people to not to engage in person to the extent possible because of the safety and well-being. So human ingenuity knows no limit. I mean, we know necessity is the mother of invention. So naturally, people had to find a way still to work, to collaborate, to deliver value to the clients, to the community at large. So the pace definitely has accelerated, and all of us can just see, if we just look at the Indian ecosystem, I will go to the global later on. So the last 2 years, if we see the number of unicorns which have been formed in India, unprecedented pace. And this is going to get more and more, because not only the entrepreneurial energy, but the huge untapped potential which the Indian market presents and the demographic dividend we have still. From the human resource perspective, what has happened, the three things have created, I will say, significant challenge and it varies from the sectors, but generally by and large it is same. So first is the great resignation, and it is visible and it's everywhere, including in human resources itself. So who will retain the retainers? When your own function is having 40 to 50% attrition. The second, I see clearly the joinee ratio is coming down significantly. Anyway, any company, any colleague you speak, it has come down. Everybody has been 3 to 4 offers, and people are fishing. Naturally, it's a buyer's market as of now. Linked with the third is also the exit of the recent joinees. So not only the number of the people joining to your organization are less, but in first 3 to 4 months, 20 to 40% people also are leaving the organization. Now, technology can play a role, of course, because you have to scale, then naturally you have to, in the terms of assessment or in the terms of providing that experience. But we have to think of the holistic package, as we call total employee experience. And technology is one piece of it. I think the human element, and if you see the mega trends of the world, right? So there is a famous TED talk, and you can go and read. What drives engagements? Autonomy, mastery, and purpose. And I think organizations will have to enable it. Autonomy means COVID already enabled it. Work from anywhere, anytime. The freelancing capacity and the part-time capacity, not necessarily a full-time employee. Mastery, that means organization will have to also find a way to create the talent they need. The purpose, of course, people are looking for that beyond, of course, the bread and butter, whatever the work I'm doing, what is the impact it is going to create on the community at large, on the world itself. So I think we'll have to look at all angles and get this employee experience right. Otherwise, the resignations, like I said, they're already forcing organizations to think that all of us think we are engaged, but are we, when the resignations are going so high? So it's a learning experience, and we'll get better in this.
Thanks, Rajesh. Very, very nicely captured. And I love this, who will retain the retainer. So that's the attrition part is also there in HR. I'd like to hear from other co-panelists, their thought process, what exactly they feel about.
We're talking about the hiring process, and in modern after COVID, the situation has been changed tremendously. See, earlier we used to have a technology just for the office purpose, but after pandemic, we are seeing the communication channels has changed drastically. So we have to look at how the people are now using the technology for hiring process, then connecting with the other remote employees. Then we have come up with the hybrid models also. So that is an excellent thing we're experienced throughout the COVID, right? So now we're using a video techniques for interviews. Earlier it was a face-to-face interviews. Okay, so most of the people were not believing in having interviews on over a call or video call. So that has changed a lot. Then there are specialized software also has come for the various technologies for recruiting, for onboarding also. In our company, we have also changed many things in terms of technologically changes. So apps and websites also use of this are increased tremendously. So more options for talent means they are not going to waste their time dealing with the companies that are difficult to apply. Now, employees, or you can say the candidates, are relying on the online channels to apply for the jobs. So there are various things. So social media is also nowadays playing a major role. Like many people are hiring through LinkedIn. Then some are floating their vacancies in WhatsApp groups. Okay, there are many things we are using for that. And also now AI is also coming into picture, artificial intelligence for recruiting. So I think this technological changes are coming, and it will definitely help our HR professional to minimize the burden, human interventions and errors. So our key priority should be to increase the availability of right talent and skilled talent. So I think labor market has to be fundamentally transferred from COVID pandemic. Okay, and remote working has also increased, like work from home. So tracking them is also important. That is my take.
Thank you so much. And you have rightly pointed out that leveraging the newest technology like artificial intelligence and machine learning will also be taken into consideration. I'd like to hear some more thoughts before we move to the next. Yes.
Yeah, so digital transformation is taking an organizational approach. So by 2020, we assume that 5 billion people would be on the handheld device. Like it's more than 5 billion people on the handheld device. Now it's easy to search job in the market. And now it's the game has turned around, right? So earlier it was in like employers market, now it's in candidate market. As Mr. Rajesh and Sachin said rightly, now we are facing out the issues with the attrition, the number one issue. Another is offer to join election drastically drop. Every candidate may have probably minimum 2 offers and maximum that the count can go up to high. So now the digital transformation enabling companies to be agile and to be on the data driven part. So, and again, the AI and ML, artificial intelligence, machine learning tools are gonna play a vital role. So the major problem in India, what we have is a bunch of applications arrive at the ATS, the application tracking systems, and then the shortlisting from that and getting in the right candidate that would eventually replace from a human to AI. And we already have tools which are doing the initial screening part, parsing of profiles and getting the warm talent pool on the table. So I guess digital transformation playing a vital role. And that would be the key, I guess, going forward with the TA or HR industry.
Just wanted to check with you, have you used this technology, and what is the time saving you have got?
Yeah, we all at IBM, we already started using a tool. Basically, the moment a candidate apply on the career website of the industry, that tool screens the profile based on the job description upload against the particular position ID. For example, hypothetically, let's say we have a position of Java developer and someone externally candidate apply on the Java developer. So every candidate gets a score based on the JD key skills we have in the JD and the resume is uploaded there. So that's parsing method with the use of AI and ML technology that gives the score, more higher the score, more relevant the profile. So that would save us time, because you might have seen if you post any position, you might get only 5% of relevant profiles, 90% of irrelevant profiles, or people are randomly just applying because everyone's on digital transformation and on the handheld device, it's easy for them to apply. So that's the method we are following, and it's helping us to reduce down the relevant talent pool, and it's bringing the relevant talent pool on the table.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Any more thoughts?
Yeah. So coming from a manufacturing setup, when we especially look at the three verticals, the production part, the maintenance part, and the support service division. So pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, the transition that we saw across industries, or especially in the area that we are operating when it comes to talent acquisition, if we precisely put it. So it is not just aid of technology that is helping us to grab into the new talent or the right talent, but more than that, we believe and we experience that the communication forums, the ease of accessing positions, the ease of evaluating ourselves before applying to any position have helped not just the candidate, but for the consultants, for the company recruiters and our platforms, our hiring manager as well to understand. Now, an example would be, now earlier we used to post a position on Naukri or give it to consultant, get the relevant candidatures, take them back to the shortlisting, and the cycle used to take almost more than 10 to 13 days. Now the thing is, what ease have made in without having a critic technology, just by accessing whatever is available in market today, post-pandemic. Now when you post something, now
earlier there were 2 unpaid sources and 10 paid sources. Today, the situation is exactly opposite. Today, we have 90 unpaid sources of recruitment and there are only 2 to 3 paid sources of recruitment. Even on the unpaid sources, the aid of technicality or the whatever we have available in the outside market or whatever we have developed as an industry or as an organization scrutinizes those profiles, understands the matching of that profile with the position, understands it helps candidate to understand whether that candidate can look for a longer career or it's kind of a short jump only. So the offer to joining ratio dropped, the candidature application ratio increased, no doubt, but shortlisting is at the pitch, so which is not hampering the hiring manager to get on more positions, spend more time on evaluation. Ultimately, as an outset, I see that apart from having all the disasters we have experienced across the globe as a pandemic, this is one of the fruit that we have earned, that ease of accessing everything is easily accessible. Like as the earlier gentleman said, that the expected number of handheld users in coming year or so. So even if we look at our family, earlier our grandparents, even they did not have a basic mobile. Today they also have a quite good smartphone. Same is with the candidates.
And they are grossly engaged in the WhatsApp.
They are completely engaged. They have their own group. So now the market is now the position, it takes not more than 5 minutes to get the position available from Naukri, from LinkedIn, from your career portal to WhatsApp. It's just a span of 5 to 7 minutes. And there are formal and informal forums available where you just put in that position and it will float like anything. So I believe that the easily available technology was already there. Pandemic just helped us to realize the importance of it, because now we cannot go out of the house or we cannot cross the door. So now let's start our productivity by staying inside the door. Second point I want to put is somewhere we realize that work from home is the new trend of working or the future of working. But again, if we look at manufacturing setup or core technical setups, excluding the service sectors, so I think that work from home is the beginning of the era. There is a lot future to come up in work from home. There are going to be not just hybrid models or opt-in to work from home or opt-in to office working, but today we cannot comment because we don't know how to predict it. But there are going to be n number of formats of working. So tomorrow we should not be surprised if in one company we have 100 types of employment contracts, wherein today we have hardly finger counting 3 to 5 employment contracts. So that's my submission. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Rajesh, I would like to.
Yeah, I'm continuing with this point from Basavaraj. So there are ample global platforms are available, and the recruitment time, that is stat, we call it a stat, that has reduced because of this technology. As we are getting the shortlisting and everything done by the system only, machine learning only. So for one position, we are getting match 1, match 2, match 3 at one point of time. Earlier, it was not possible. We have to spend our time, scrutinize the CVs manually and everything. But now, because of using this technology, we can easily shorten our turnaround time, and it's from 0 to 30 days. Earlier, it was 45 to 90 days, but it's because of these digital technology platforms, it comes down to 30 days. So that is my submission.
Any more thoughts from co-panelists? Yeah.
Yeah, because of this digitalization, the lot of ease has happened for the employer as well as to the candidate. Things have, becoming easy day by day. But again, because of this, the more challenges we are going to face in days to come. Like, for example, as the people from ITs, because I'm on other side of the table. We are, providing services to the industries. So we are providing services for the IT industries, for the manufacturing. So different set of mindsets of the candidates we see every day. So they have increased their expectations at like anything. If somebody has got offer today of say 10 lakh rupees and another day he has got offer of say 15 lakhs, and maybe he would have get some offer on day after tomorrow of 30 lakhs rupees. So what about the first who has given the offer? So this is how the expectations of the candidates have increased like anything. So reliability and the authenticity uh, of the candidate is again a question mark. So it will be a bigger challenge. It is, for the all HR people across the globe. So more into IT industries particularly, but it will come in manufacturing as well. So this is one of the biggest challenge, what I think, because not in terms of only CTC, but in terms of the work-life balance, working from, because we were working for one of the IT company. So it was very, because and company was insisting for the work from office candidate. And it took 2 months to find out that particular niche position was there. And the candidates were not ready to, come for the work from office. The case was 6 months before. So now people are ready to come forward for the work from office. So this is how the people are thinking of the work-life balance, the flexible working hours, then CTC and well-being of their for themselves. So these are the challenges definitely the HR has to face. Rather they are facing in this in this time.
Thank you so much. So I think we have got quite a good amount of inputs. Anyone else would like to add further? Should I move on to my follow-up question? If any one of you have to add some more points, please feel free and just pitch it. Request to my co-panelist if you'd like to add. Ms. Meena Kulpan, you'd like to add something? Dr. Arun?
I think all points has been covered, but still I would like to add something here is my industry is from, we are manufacturing of parts for Indian Railway Metro. So you must be heard about the Agra Metro has been inaugurated by our PM Narendra Modi. So this is our recent project which it did. So in line with this project, I just would like to, share my experiences being in HR digitization. It becomes so easy for me to put my team on site in a very short span. We could able to depute them on site. They could able to deliver, and we could really meet the expectations from Indian government. So this digitization process completely helped us not only in terms of hiring and the talent acquisition, but also to put them on site. So we have a one tool where we can, use it is a planner kind of where the people comes in, onboarding happens, and if you would like to send them on site, so it also help us you to measure their span period on site, and then again to come back in the same plant, sending them a different candidate there. So it is also help us to keep their morale high on site, because there are many employees which they don't feel to go on site and work exactly when it comes to the railway and metro projects. So this was keep me updating every day, every minute, what is really going on site, and what my contract people are doing, what my managers are doing, what customers really expecting. So yeah, it was really a great change which I could feel that every single minute updates were there, and we could able to deliver our 7 months project in 4 months.
Great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Any more thoughts?
Okay, I would like to add, because I am no more with the industry, but I would like to express my opinion. I think this pandemic has put up all of us in the VUCA world. And that's why everyone is now thinking for having a change, because VUCA world talks about no more practice of the traditions. Traditional practices will not no more work, and we have to approach to the new practices. It could be hiring, it could be talent acquisition, it could be retaining people, etc. And it will not be possible unless industry and a particular forum will bring the cultural change into their either a manufacturing setup, it could be IT industry also. So I think cultural change is required. Earlier, we were companies were instead of thinking we can invest in the capability of the people, without which it is looks difficult to retain the talent. Secondly, it needs to identify the expectation of the people, their aspirations, because they have the experience in one field. And now this VUCA world asks about the change in the nature of work. So therefore, when they would like to change the nature of work, their expectation needs to consider, and they would like to train in the respective field. There are certain practices, I think, which needs to consider to retain the people or as a change in the industry, like the balanced approach, both from the employer side as well as from the employee side. In all respect, everyone should be open to experimentation, because in the VUCA world, the traditional methodology may not work. So we all must have the practical approach. Everyone must feel comfortable with the uncertainties, because pandemic has given a great lesson to us that uncertain situation can come at any time, and we all need to face. It is a challenge for survival also. Secondly, psychology and physiology, they works together in the industry. So we need to bring the awareness amongst the people, how psychology needs to change, how physiology needs to change towards the work culture. In all, it is necessity to change the mindset of both employer and employee. All must be curious to work with the challenges, to overcome with the challenges, and we must find out the new solutions. So instead of expressing the problem, everyone should be the solution oriented. Secondly, this digitalization world or the fast world talks about the prioritization. Unless we prioritize the things, I think we'll be far away from the success and achievement of the goals.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting fact is there. Once Rajesh has started with a great resignation. So now the buzzword is there. Everybody is looking out for change. So from great X to great A, that means great resignation to great attraction. So I'd like to hear from my co-panelists how exactly the economies and that data worldwide is not showing that the economy has recovered, but all of a sudden the people are the companies are hiring and people are resigning. So is that what kind of so same job people are getting paid more, and it is just the movement is happening. My question to all my co-panelists is how exactly you are leveraging technology to cope up this great resignation and applying this for retention and attraction and new talent. So you can start, Rajesh.
Yeah.
Great, Rajesh. Yeah.
See, I briefly mentioned that organizations should not look for ready-made talent. I think if you want to really grow faster in this time where there are so many challenges, one of the things is that you will have to create talent, and then you have to look at unconventional ways. So conventional ways are you increase the fresher hiring, or you look for the talent, where the maybe the outside the markets, because right now work from anywhere is there. So in IT, it's easily possible that you don't work from India. You can look for the centers like Vietnam, Thailand, or you can look at Eastern Europe, Mexico, and so on. But in some of the sectors where the presence is very much needed, I mean, my manufacturing friends here. So all this churn, I think, is going to create challenge for industry, in which one thing definitely is going to accelerate is automation. The rise of the work which will be done by human beings will require more complex skill. In the short term, it's going to be challenged, but organizations will have to think differently. And in IT, people are already trying many things. I already shared that part-time work, especially the return from work for the mothers. You also look for the freelancers, you look for the fixed term contract. You are also looking for the people who had opted out of workforce, or for some reason they want to come back, they are also welcome. People are also looking for the labor which can be trained. So earlier, mostly you see BTech were there, but now BSc, diploma, BCS, all these people are coming into IT. So somewhere organizations and the effect of pandemic has been, I will say, skewed. So in IT, if you see in the first time after 2 decades, the kind of growth is coming. So naturally there the demand is much, much more than anywhere else. And that is why it has accelerated more. But using these 3-4 levers, so using unconventional ways to find talent and to deliver service, number one. Number two, I think automation and the acceleration of the work through the tools is definitely going to increase. And the ability to get work done from everywhere, especially it's true in IT and in all the digital space. So not only look for the conventional way that the people have to come and work for us. I think many organizations are looking at in some sort of 15 to 20% people will be these, as we call the gig workers or the freelancers or the part-time, who are not going to be full-time employees. But in mid-term, definitely it is going to have a very significant impact, because industry cannot bear the cost. So what happens? Then now you start making pyramid. So now it's going to be, not pyramid, is going to be tower. It will be like Indian Army. You see, there are not too many generals. One general, few lieutenant generals, few major generals, till colonel, you have a huge base. The same is going to happen in industry, because you cannot afford to pay. Client is not willing to pay you premium. And your wage inflation rate also is one more headache has come for industry. In India, we see the consumer price inflation. On US, after 4 decades, it's going to 7.5% more. Same for Europe. And the Russia-Ukraine war has further created problem in the supply chain disruption. So it's going to put pressure on industry. So in the short term, industry will cope up with these measures. But in the midterm, I see that more heavy investment will happen in automation and tools. And the human beings who will less skilled, they will have more challenge, because especially in the services sector, because the routine repetitive work are going to be automated. Only work which is going to remain there, which will require a little complex cognition or some human intervention. It's challenging phase, but I think right now itself, if we see the guidance of everybody in IT sector, every even large organizations, they are giving one of the best guidance in the previous 2 decades. So it's exciting phase also to be in.
Thank you. Thanks, Rajesh. In fact, that reminds me, recently I have studied a case study from Citibank, Hong Kong. And that this case is a very interesting recruiting outside the box. During the pandemic, what happened that a lot of especially from the financial sector, they left Hong Kong. And when they wanted to recruit, they were not having the talent. Guess what? What they did? They recruited 1,000 employees from the hospitality background, because that industry was shaken up because of this, and they're out of job. And this has paid very well for them. And with the right kind of training, they were able to revamp, and these guys are doing phenomenally a great job. So maybe that thinking out of the box and leveraging technology, all these things can be taken into consideration. I'd like to hear from other co-panelists how exactly they are able to arrest this great resignation period and attract the right kind of talent. That's very, very important. So anyone from you can.
Yeah. So my my point here is when we studied our masters and till date whatever we are practicing, there are some rules and some laws that we studied. We are referring today as well, and we are continuing our work regarding talent management, retention, and everything. Tomorrow we should not be surprised if the Maslow's need of hierarchy will change, or some situation will come up and stand in a way that the need hierarchy is completely different than what Maslow have said. Now the thing, as Pandurang was saying rightly, that there is a candidate who got an offer on first for 10 lakh, on 10th he got offer for 15 lakh, on 20th it was for 20 lakh, and by month end he is having an offer of around 30 lakhs in hand. This situation we have seen it in repeated number of times. Now the thing is, when it comes to attrition, retention, and handling that a wonderful word you have mentioned, that great resignation. Thing is, when it comes to retain the talent, instead of highlighting or putting light on technical upgradation or what seamless processes we will build in, or how the modes of communication we will utilize, in my opinion, or I am of an opinion that even if we work on other way, like in the 5 businesses that I take care, in one business we have tried it, wherein we have a plant in here at Navi Mumbai, and we have a plant in US as well. So there, attrition was at around 38% before pandemic, and in last 1.5 years, it shooted up at above 50-60% somewhere, and today it is below 20%. Now what is done was, see, at a level we have stopped recruiting this new talent. Point number 1. Secondly, the professional qualifications, for just to quote an example, the BE chemical requirement is replaced with BE chemical fresher, replaced with BSc with some sort of experience. Thirdly, having a diploma mechanical or a BE mechanical, we opt in to have those crash courses which these NGOs are doing in association with private and government ITIs as well. So we developed our own content. We understood our own machines through our technical set of people. We developed what our employees should learn, should know, and that curriculum is developed. Same is floated to that NGO, and the talent from rural India, especially, even going below the taluka places, what exactly we did was, and grabbing that talent in aid of this skill development movement of Government India project, also supported by board apprentice and everyone. Now this movement, so in normal way, 38% attrition, post-pandemic touching to 60, and today down to 20. Now the situation is, all other businesses from where we were sourcing, or the companies where we were tapping those talent, even it becomes a discussion forum that how the attrition is not arising. Now, here we are maintaining the talent. Instead of pushing hard on attracting new talent, we are pushing on getting that talent which is actually looking for this kind of job. Now, being into precious metal, my machine operator is the one who does the grooming as well, because the dust that is falling on ground is of platinum. So that also needs to be handled by a skilled person. So in that, a BE mechanical is not ready to do that groom even for 10 seconds. So having this below ITI patching into this required or groomed into your curriculum is something that does the work. Now in this, again, the technology comes into picture. All these sessions, all these learnings, all these curriculums, we did 100% floated, 100% completely free of cost. Anybody from across the globe can attend the session, learn, or just enjoy. If they want to get into job, they have to attempt our exam, get certified, and come for the employment. And once you get certified, then it's just one round of interview and we hire that candidate. So This is a trick, I don't know, but it worked with us.
That was a very, very nice insight. In fact, I'm sure that there's a lot to learn, and maybe that offline we'll get in touch and we'll take notes from your initiative. It's very nice. Anyone else would like to add? Yeah, Meena.
Yeah. So I would like to share about the attrition where post-COVID, there was a number of attrition happened, not only for a white collar. I would say in my company for white collar, we have less attrition, but compared to special skills, especially for aluminum welders, and I would say for TIG welders and robotic programmer. So my plant is located in Chakan in Pune. Chakan is a hub for manufacturing. Here, I could see how digitization is really helped these welders. So they have a group in MIDC where around 600 to 700 welders are connected to each other. And they keep on posting any requirement comes in. I think there are some contractors who float some messages and it is really directly hit to my plant. And I could say every day, whenever I enter in office and there is, there is a lot of quarrel and fight between the welders is really left. They left in 4 days, they left in 3 months, and whatever the salary they are asking for me. And so I was really surprised to see this, not only for the white collar, not only in the IT companies, but also at this level, it's a high ratio of attrition.
So WhatsApp group is the cause for high attrition.
I could say this digitalization and the smartphone is really educated a youth, and they are well aware about what is really going on in the market and where they really want to see themselves. Yeah. But then in this, the way Panduran has mentioned, they are demanding like anything, whatever they want to demand. So now it becomes very tough for me where my union workman is being paid less compared to what I was paying to contractuals. And then again, a dispute comes in. But this was really a tough time for me, and where after pandemic, we had this Kanpur Metro projects and Singapore Metro we are working on. And it was being very tough where my growth was 50% growth was there, and I have to hire from 150 people to bring it to the 400 people in 1 year. So this was being a very challenging task for me. And every day I used to, only think and how I can grab these people. Initially, I paid them high, though I feel it was unfair, maybe, but then I thought that we will be paying for a skill. Later on, then I developed a strategy where we can hire freshers, though it was like minimum, it is a diploma and BE also working with me today, and then paying them a good, keeping them more happy, and give them a growth path that where they will be tomorrow. They will not be as a welder tomorrow. And this way I made a strategy, and then we try to bring such new, fresh mind of people, changing their mindset, understanding them what really is expected, showing them their growth path. And today I think I could able to manage these welders and aluminum welders and TIG welders in such a manner now. I don't have any attrition. It is a stable position, still running with the contractuals only. So I'll tell you, it was really mess situation where 30 to 40% only in every 3 months they used to, the moment they get trained. And being coming from a locomotive business, very few companies are available where I can source people, those who are the experience in the market. So it being very difficult. So here it is same, we use a strategy, not only hiring with a skill, but also developing skill inside. And where we have focused to get a freshers, develop them as per our needs and retaining them. In terms of a white collar, we had a engineering team where I could see a lot of resignations coming in. Of course, they have a very good connections in the market where not only social media, but also they have references outside. And being a very few companies are available in the market, they get offered very fast. I would also would like to share that my few shop floor contractual employees, they did some courses and they joined IT companies. And Yes, and I could say they are ITI mechanical, but they have done some courses and they join in IT companies and they said, ma'am, we have a good offer. We would like to go. I said, happily, yes, please go and do your career. So yes, market is completely changed. It's very dynamic situation now. With some courses, with some skills, with some skill enhancement, they get opportunity. And we as HR then again has to see whether really would like to retain people or not, because once they resign, as per my experience, mentally they have prepared themselves and to leave the organization. And I'm in a personally opinion not to retain them, such type of people, those who really feel that they want to really leave the organization. And
that reminds me, Richard Branson said that train your people in such a manner that they can be hired by anyone. But
so
treat them so well that
yes,
they don't leave you.
They don't leave. So I'll tell you, in white collar, I have a 1% attrition. I could say in numbers, but then in blue collar, I have a good attrition. And then question comes from management, how to retain them. I said, we don't have a control on this. We can. It is only a control where we can develop a new talents and we can get new people and train them and put them on machines. Yeah.
Perfect. Mr. Rajesh would like to say something. Rajesh Matre?
Yeah. I'm giving 2 live examples from my company, that is Adani. So we took our airports business in 2021, and we were new to this airport business actually, in fact. And our CEO very first day told that this is a hospitality industry, so we need to take people from hospitality industry. But as you are aware, the airport business is, the airport says we want specific people from airports only. So then one decision we took, that we formed our own airport academy. This one decision we took, and we started giving training to our people in airport academy. And second, we had a tied up with Centum Learning type of company, and where we are now giving training to our contractual employees. These are around 7,000 to 8,000 people, and we are giving them training on customer satisfaction. And we are giving them their area specific customer satisfaction training. So these 2 things we have done to retain our talents.
Fantastic. Anyone would like to add some more points?
I would like to add. So in the IT industry, what mainly in the top 6 companies, what they have started doing it, they have incorporated a retention bonus. I guess most of the other industry must have also started. So huge amount of retention bonus, as well as the ESOPs, the employee stock options they have started. So which will bound them for at least for next 2 to 3 years. So that is the couple of things they have started enlightening now, to engage the talent and to keep the talent with the organizations, as well as the sponsoring the learning and training and learning part. So there are some external certifications which are available in the market, which are useful for the employee as well as for the organization. So they have started sponsoring on this aspect. So these are the 3 key options they have started, or 3 key initiatives which we have started recently at IBM. That employee stock options, a retention bonus, as well as sponsoring the external certifications, which will help them to enhance their key skills, as well as helps to enhance the company key skills as well. And so that is about the employee attrition. And how about a candidate dropping out? So initially, IBM never used to have a bench kind of a situation, but lately started having a bench as well. So they have already people on bench. So for example, if we have a 1 position open, we are rolling out 3 offers, considering we are currently having at 60 to 65% of offer to joinee ratio. So out of 10, only 5 to 6 employees are joining, 5 to 6 candidates are joining, and 4 candidates are dropping out. So considering that, we already have for each position, we're rolling out 2 to 3 offers. So that's saving us time and avoiding the last minute situation when the project needs employee or a candidate and we don't have it. So these are the initiatives we started doing.
Great. Just wanted to check with my co-panelist. Any one of you see, always it is there. People before leaving our organization, they have got some disengagement with the work. Any one of you are using any lead or lag indicator or using technology to find out who could be your potential resignation or potential people who will be quitting, where you can do intervention beforehand.
Nigesh,
Yeah.
I would like to submit in VOCAD. When I was in VOCAD, our attrition in sales workforce was 32%, 32 to 40%. So our president HR has thought how to control this attrition. So we hired 2 persons from big data analytics background, and we have done a contract with them, and we have provided them all the data of our existing sales workforce, including date of joining, date of birth, their place of origin, what their qualification, everything. And every 3 months they were giving us a report wherein they are projecting, by doing algorithm, they are projecting that so many people will resign within 3 months. So they are giving us a projection for how so many people will resign from your work. So we got a 65% accuracy in that actually, and then we have restrained our attrition in that sales workforce, and that was reduced from 32% to 17% because of this intervention from big data analytics.
Thank you so much. Anyone like to add on that? In fact, very interesting fact. We had a conversation, my colleague and my CEO and MD. We have realized that anyone who's stayed in your organization for at least 3 to 4 years time, before quitting, they take at least a week or 10 days to have a discussion with their family member, because the first barrier they have to cross, that they need to convince their family member also why you are quitting such a good organization. And unless until they are convinced, they cannot put in their papers. So that was a very interesting insight we got, and I was wondering that how do we tackle those 10-15 days beforehand, so that this kind of challenges will not come across. So I'd like to hear from our co-panelists. Besides, I'll also like to add, when we are using technology, and the new thing is that recruitment also is not just recruitment. The new buzzword is that how you are able to manage diversity and inclusion. So my question to my co-panelists is, how exactly you are leveraging technology where the biases are taken care of, that an unbiased way you're able to expand the horizon of and have a good mix of diversity and inclusion while hiring. Pandurang would like to start.
Yeah. See, on one side of coin, where employees are rethinking their priorities and their relationship with the employer, they are seeking flexible work arrangements, work-life balance. They want to work for employer who value their physical, emotional well-being, and they will not stay with them those who don't. On other side, the definitely companies are also thinking how their work culture can evolve with employees in order to attract, retain, and grow talent. Definitely, companies need to fine tune or overhaul their culture to meet the expectations of the professional, to seen as human being first. Here, I would like to emphasis on the employer branding, because I'll ask all the panelists a question, that before taking a decision to quit a job or to take a new assignment, what the first question comes in your mind? The first question comes in our mind: what is the reputation of the organization? In a percentage wise, I have read somewhere 84% of the job seeker, they think of reputation of the employer. So reputation, when we talk about the reputation, so it is nothing but in our HR words, it's employer branding. So when we, because this employer brand will drive the overall scenario, uh, the uh, the the base of the all the problems. Because stronger the work culture, wherein values, plays a very important role. Definitely, the employer branding will be, is good for the organization. Then engagement of the people, wherein because of the digitalization. Yesterday one of my friend, he was talking about the how digitalization playing important role, because when he joined, he got everything at his doorstep. He got appointment letter in his digital locker and everything. So there is no touch to that person. Even he didn't met to that HR person. So that somewhere, people touch is missing. People centric policies has to be, has to be created for the flexibility to bring into the workplace, and the professional development priorities. These are 3 4 things which will, I think, will create a employer brand. And definitely that employer brand will attract the talent. Not only attract, it will definitely retain the talent for the organization.
Thank you so much. Very nicely said. Any more thoughts?
I would like to add here is one of the example where after joining this, after onboarding, we had a buddy system. So when it comes to a buddy system where, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Am I audible? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So buddy system is like within 2 months to check the new joinees or new inductees is comfortable in the system, whether his queries has been addressed, whether he is well equipped with the culture or not. But now after digitization, I think it is more of a online onboarding system, and even a buddy system has been online. So here is rather meeting people, we are just talking on the screen. We are talking to people whether they are very comfortable or not. So yes, this human touch, as Pandurang has mentioned, this human touch is really missing, where being as a HR, we have to really meet people, understand them, and the kind of emotion meeting by one-to-one being generated, it is not been generated through HR digitization platform, what I really feel about it. So it is also a many time when we have a one-to-one interaction with our people, they express where they would like to see themselves in future. And those who are very ambitious, they express that they would like to move on to the different department, move on to take some new additional responsibilities. These things is really missed out after COVID, I feel. And this is really, we need to really focus on. In AQ, I'll tell you, we have a one platform we call is a management development dialogues, where we management and HR meets them, understand those who are the potential and critical role they are handling it. So in this, we maintain a growth path and we give them a global move. So we are located across globally in 8 countries. Wherever when opportunity comes in, we give a global move is a first priority for all potential and critical position those who are handling it. Yes, this buddy system and onboarding online is really missed out, what I feel. So this human touch is really needed. So this is the critical dialogues when we have with our employee, and where HR head is talking to them is really pride for the organization or pride for them. Which is really, they feel that it is not being taken care or something. So these are the feedbacks which we get from even employees.
Thank you so much. It's a very interesting fact is there when you talk about that human touch is missing. And my question to all my co-panelists is, how do we improve team efficiency and process when we are hiring remote employees? And a very interesting term we have come across now that was completely unheard earlier, that moonlighter. So there are a lot of people, especially in the IT industry, they are a moonlighter, and they're very difficult to find out. For them also, it is sometimes that actually, if you're doing this, it is unethical. But do you face in your organization any moonlighter? Of course, when you find, you will sack them. And how do we deal with this? My first question is very pertinent, that when we are doing onboarding for a remote employees work from home culture, how do we make them productive and efficient?
Actually, yes. Being into very conventional industry, we are into agriculture industries. We are pioneered in fertilizers, crop chemicals, and specialty nutrient in India. And since it's a very conventional business and it requires physical presence, maybe with the farmers or maybe with the dealers or distributors. So if our employee doesn't go to farmers, he will not buy the product. If you don't go to the dealers, he will not buy the product. So the first challenge we have faced when there was a pandemic. So we never worked on online. Okay, we're not took any orders online or over the phone, something like that. So first challenge was how to connect with the employees, because all the meetings, all the seminars, all the presentations, all the budget meetings were happening physically. So that was the greatest challenge for all of us. So coping with that challenge, we thought it for around 15-20 days how to cope up with the challenges, because technology distraction is also there. People are not so techno savvy that time. And how to collaborate the team online, that was a major issue. So how to connect with them, then how to recruit employee online, since we were doing our interviews, or all interviews were happening physically only. So it was altogether new world for conventional industries like us. Rather, I can say the manufacturing setups also might be facing such problems during the pandemic. So how to conduct the trainings, how to conduct the performance appraisal of the employees, because that time appraisals were happening face to face only, interacting the employee, listening to their grievances, all these things. So talking about attrition during that time, it was very high, because competitors were also offering a good amount of money to highly skilled people. So for retention of them, so we have planned some employee engagement activities online, though it was very challenging to do that. So, and what we have done, we have connected with their families. Means majorly we have focused on their families and their children's to engage them in their work. So basically, whenever they are we are thinking about the resigning the our organization. So their family used to say कि आपको कंपनी आपका पूरा पैंडेमिक में ख्याल रख रहा है, फैमिली का ख्याल रख रहा है. This is such a nice company. They are very people oriented. Then for because of just some increment, why you want to go to the competitors or you want to other companies? So that was our one success factor I can quote here. Then we have done many collaboration trainings online. Okay, we have designed various training modules during that pandemic. I can say it was a tremendous success for us, because it's the first time we can say we have done lots of things online, and surprisingly we got a result also. Now coming to as you said, moonwalkers. So fortunately we didn't have any employees, because we made our policies very clear. And during the recruitment only at the stage of interview stage, we used to iterate them about our code of conduct, okay, our policies in very details. So fortunately, we didn't have such kind of employees, and we had taken care of their financial aspect, maybe through, you can say, some medical insurance or bonuses and all these things.
So by the way, more lighters, they don't share their details.
Sorry,
They
sir?
do it. They don't share their details. They do it on their own.
I just wanted to quote here. I just wanted to quote here. Where given the technological advancements we had done, okay, like laptops and tablets were given to them. So all the activities, whatever they're doing through laptop or tablets, it is traceable, and we had a faith in our employees also.
Yeah, thank you.
That was the biggest.
So I'd like to hear from some more co-panelists how exactly under this circumstances you are able to hire a right talent and also onboard them well, keeping their productivity and morale high.
I think there is the only way of transformation of mindset other than the commands, unless without commanding, you can transform their mindset. Second way I can find that the collaboration, instead of having a power play, so we can collaborate with the people, so that aspect of human touch will also cover in that. Third, I find that we should have the general cooperation from leaders, people, stakeholders, because without taking help of all these, it is difficult to run the show. The challenges are more. So these are my opinions to manage these uncertain situations.
Thank you. Anyone would like to add some more points?
Yeah, I think in this scenario, the manager or the leader who managing the team, they plays a very important role. Who can be mentor, who can be guide for them, who will observe and monitor the performance on day-to-day basis. So as an HR perspective, I think conveying the objective and goal clearly to the employee and its effective PMS will definitely will improve the team efficiency for the remote, even for the remote employees, which this anyways we were doing earlier for the employees who were working in the offices. But for the employees working at remote places, for them also conveying their objectives and goal clarity and effective way of conducting the PMS from the managers and leaders, those who have particularly well trained to handle the team who is sitting virtually. So by doing this, I think this is the only way wherein we can improve the efficiency of the people. And a couple of things which I would like to also add. There are some engagement activities, virtual team building activities which can be done periodically, like conducting various management activities virtually, which we can conduct, like some role plays or maybe some game plays which we can be done, and which will help the organization to engage the people. And one more thing which I would like to add, there are some people in the organization who possesses different skill set other than their what role they are playing for their designation or the department. So if organization empowered to take some this kind of different projects for their interests, if we open up such projects or something like that, and definitely if people take that project apart from their day-to-day routine job, or maybe specially for that project. In such cases, wherein their efficiency definitely will come out of it, because they took this project at their own interest, and such assignments or empowering of such projects definitely will improve the efficiency of the people, those who are sitting at remote places.
Thank you. I'd like to, my second part was how do we leverage technology to take care of or increase the diversity and inclusion within because that's a new buzzword. Right from our Prime Minister, each and every organization, they have got a D&I cell. And do you feel that it is an important factor for the organization growth, especially post-pandemic, or it's just a buzzword? Or if it is, then what exactly your organization or if is doing, or if you want to share your thought on how do we leverage technology to increase D&I in the organization, diversity and inclusion. So who would like to go first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, personally, I think that the perception of the word diversity is taken not in the right sense, because let it be a government scheme or let it be a organizational policy that we adem or we make a new policy. Most of the times, the era started when we started talking about the gender. So initially it was like having 30% females, then it came to 50% females, then having 20% women participation in BOD as well, kind of sort. Now going ahead, is it the only diversity inclusion we are talking? Point number one. Point number two, what is the purpose of talking about, or what is the thought behind talking about diversity? Now, ultimately, see, any policy, any encroachment of other industries encroaching into each other, or how we tap into talents, which Pandurang can put much better light on it. So in all this, there are few key factors that lead, for which we as a company, we as an employer, and we as an HR professional are 100% responsible. Now, what are those points? Outcome of which is the ultimate answer to diversity. The story starts with recruitment process and employee onboarding experience. Second, once it is done with that, the second part comes with employee support service, which we can quote as HR operations or HRBP role kind of thing. Third one is the learning and the developmental opportunities one gets. It can be your training and development program. It can be your career growth. It can be your succession planning. It can be your future leader programs kind of thing. And the last one is the culture and overall experience of the organization. Now, what happens is, if we only insist on taking out bias and having diversity in place, now it started with gender, as I mentioned, and now there are many ways to look at the diversity. For example, fortunately, we are in a country where at least this caste and greed have not encroached into this diversity criterions, excluding the reservation criteria. But when we talk about talent, and we as a talent seeker or the one who deals into getting the talent from the market, for us, in my opinion, diversity or inclusion means getting a right blend of population who can add value to the organization and can enhance the skill level of the organization at par. For example, recently we have started hiring, we started expanding our IT department. So now when it is, and because of all this technical upgradation and the market is changing or almost changed. So here, being into manufacturing, we need to hire from IT industry. Now, thing is, we have set of people across industries. So manufacturing has its own parity. That B with 7-year experience, this is the tag. Now all these tags are taken and vanished, completely vanished out by IT industry. When? Because there are multiple offers raising on day-to-day basis. Now what happens is, my B with 7 year is having, let's quote an example of 100 rupees CPC.
I agree with you. My only thing is this, it's not about the justification. I'm just asking, do we have well thought process? Just an observation.
Yeah.
We have a 12 panelists here.
Right.
And only 3 sweet ladies are there. So that goes. So the data shows that, in fact, you go anywhere.
Right.
The very beautiful definition of the diversity and inclusion is that diversity is that inviting everyone to the party, and inclusion is that asking them to dance on the dance floor. So the challenge is not that if we have a almost 50-50 ratio, and of course there could be, but this cannot be everywhere 25 and 75. That's what it is there, whether it is a member of parliament, whether it is there in that top CEOs, you go and that SEBI had to mandate that you have to put mandatory one board of directors. So there also the wife comes.
Yeah.
So this is, there are a lot of valuable things are there. Research shows that when diversity comes, that innovation and things goes well. So my thought process is when we're using technology, are we also thinking this can be leveraged to get unbiased approach to hire talent, which will also take care of diversity and inclusion? That was my question. Is that, and the fact is that what you were saying, I'm in absolute agreement is that, and we might be having a great justification till cows come home, but the fact is that there is a lot need to be done in society, in the corporate, the politics, and all of us have to contribute to that.
See, the purpose is not to interpret the data into MIS. The purpose is to leave some experience for the organization before we leave that organization. So, see, to conclude my submission, my point is, as in aid of technology, especially AI, the human factor comes out of the process. So there is no, AI don't have a feeling. So AI does what is required to be done, which earlier human used not to do. So ultimately, as a result, there is no white and black, there is no silver and gold. It will evaluate, it will take if suitable, if it will not take, as our gentleman from IBM was stating, that the technology that he implemented, that it is very simple. And going ahead, it may sustain or it might become a behavior of a human, that you forget those biases and bring into those inclusions. That's it. Thank you.
If you look at the wider picture, hello, can I hear?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes. If you look at the wider picture, the equal number of women are there in the society as we men are there. So the potential, the potential employees are there in the society, and we as a HR, wherever we are working, definitely in manufacturing, they have a different mindset they have, because of when we recruit a female employee, we have to take extra precautions for their everything. So maybe might be because of that, I think this hiring of women at workplaces is less than the in any other industry. But in hospital industry, or maybe in hospitality industry, or in IT industries, the percentage is, I think, almost equal. But definitely, we being a HR, we should play a vital role in recruiting, female employees at workplaces to reduce this diversity question. I think we can do that at our level wherever possible.
Great. Anyone else would like to add into this? Now who should like to?
Yeah, I would like to add here. So when it comes to diversity and inclusion, few of us may have a limited definition of bringing the women in technology. However, that has been expanded of bringing the LGBT community as well. So IBM is always been proud of long history of diversity and inclusion, from hiring the first woman and black employee in 1899 to recent time of expanding the parental leave. And that would be continue to encourage with the oversight of diversity thought leadership. So we recently, I mean, a couple of years back, we also participated in a recruitment drive that was specifically for LGBT community. So that has helped us to build our diversity inclusion as well. And we have been focusing on bringing diversity inclusion. So last year it was 34% of diversity and inclusion at IBM, and we're targeting for 50% by 2025.
Yeah, shall we clap for IBM?
Very good, very good.
Yeah, it's very nice.
So these are the initiatives the team has started following by hiring the physically specially enabled candidate as well. So that is helping us bringing the DI and inclusion ratio drastically. I hope IBM will bring it 50% by 2025.
We have Neelakant and Meena both would like to. Neelakant, would like to go first?
Yeah. So I just want to second the thought of Baswaraj. He has given a live example, or rather live case study at his organization, wherein they recruited I would say comparatively lower educated professionals as compared to engineers or so, and reskilled or skilled them and brought them at par with the engineers. Now, so when it comes to recruitment, of course, diversity does have a lot of segmentation or parameters with respect to male and female, and there are many other parameters. But when it comes to social inclusion, at my own organization, my organization is not that big or so. But what I prefer while doing recruitment is, I like to stress on including those people from the lower strata of the or lower class of the society. The lower class, that means is people coming from that region where they are not getting a lot of exposure with regards to what is happening in the developed world, or could be in the urban area. So what happens is, this has created a lot of ripple effect on their end, wherein a good message has been sent backwards in their respective, native places, wherein, a message has been sent that a lot of opportunities which can change their lives, change their complete career, that is happening. That is one thing. Second point I would like to add is with regards to, my co-panelists coming from big organizations.
Lost him. You're on mute.
Oh. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
The second point is, about backward skilling. So this big organization, or maybe a consortium of all of these organizations, can work on the backward skilling when it comes to, creating their resource pool at the stage of even students pursuing their MBAs or any other courses, because we are discussing on the platform ASM. So this means a lot. This can create a big effect. That's what I feel.
Meena, I would like to share your thoughts.
I would like to share a few of my thoughts. Yes, DNI is a big topic. So yes, everybody is driving. It is not only our PM Narendra Modi who is driving, but also at the global level. Recently, I've been certified from Swedish Chamber of Commerce. I've gone through a 6 months some case study and research and been awarded from Ambassador of Sweden for this topic.
Great.
Yeah. So, yeah. So just would like to give a flavor of this when DNI comes at a level of technology. It is what Basaraj is mentioned is rightly where biasness can be removed for talent acquisition is AI, which really can help in industry. Diversity, the concept is completely different. When we say diversity, people only think about it's a woman hiring. It's not the woman hiring. It's removal of the biasness which have unconsciously created in society. So one of the example I would like to share, when it comes, somebody have a position open for CEOs, MD, CTOs, the picture comes in our mind is a male who can hold this position is always, bring the picture of being a male, can be a CEO, can be MD of the organization is a male. And when the profession comes as a teacher, nurse, then when comes to a counselor, so, these are the profession is meant for the women. So this biasness is being created when it has come from a childhood and sometimes even from our home. When we say this job can be done by only boy or this cannot be done by woman or maybe a girl. So
in fact, would like to add that whenever we talk about C-suite, they never think about a HR professional. That
and few of the advertisement when you say the media and advertising agency when they work is Fair and Lovely is only used, and when there is a you can see it is not for a male, it is for a woman who is putting the advertising is a Fair and Lovely for the only for the woman. Why this biasness where a woman should be fair? Why this biasness already exists in society? So it's a long way to So I've been participated for the research study for this. It was a global level. So it's a big topic, I would say. But then yes, AI is the tool where it can really help the organization to remove the unconsciously which is existing in the organization. Where inclusion comes in, where if we say there are many organizations, they are focusing on the target with the 30% being a woman should be employed, they employ. But then still there are a lot of inclusion is been really to be focused, because if there is, for example, I would say there's a case where recently have been experienced. There's a woman. So I'm an HR professional. I'm also handling IR. Recently, I have signed 2 wage settlements. This is with the external party. So when this external party sits in front of me, he is influenced from a BJP. He's been scared of me with dealing on the cross table. He says, मैडम से अगर बात करना है तो मुझे रेडी होके जाना होता है because I cannot use any words in front of her. So it is on the other side now. He is coming with completely prepared way, and I am the person who is really being influencing him for my topics. So this is what I feel that as a woman can make a wonder. It is not only when we say as a HR, even in HR profession, when we say IR is to be taken care by even a male candidate, there are many positions where floated on the WhatsApp and the social media where IR position is specially for a male candidate. I think this is a bias where my MD is really happy with my work, the way I did my wage settlement. He said before you, there was a 3 HR managers, they could not do it, they could not work in this way. So I really feel proud. And I could say in the AQ group, my HR head is a group level, HR head is a female, sales and marketing head is a female, key account manager is female, CFO is female, then MD is female in 6 countries. So this diversification still, we feel that it is not only given position, but also authority should be given to her. It is not only employing them as a manager, but also to feel them that they are they are being a decision maker for the organization, which really makes them that they have been included in a business. So inclusion comes there, where you really empower them to take a decision, where you do not underestimate her for the decision, where she cannot take decision financial terms, where she cannot take decision for the business terms. Being in AQ, I really feel proud that diversity and inclusion is really been already established, where I would say.
Great. In fact, the way you're passionate and the way you have said, and I'm sure that Indra Nui said was that you need to be a good mentor to become and reach at a higher level. I'm sure that you must have been mentored by a good person. I'm not guessing the gender of that, but I'm sure that whosoever is there, he or she has done a great job. Now we are in the last 15 minutes of that, so I'm keeping a time frame. Since a lot of people are and the youngster are watching this webinar, like my co-panelists to share what are the top 3 things they should be looking at when they would like to make their first career or the job switch. What could be the top 3 reasons they should be thinking time to move, or top 3 parameters to select career, a new job? And of course, you can add one digital tool which you feel that they must use, and or which you are using it. Anyone can go. That besides salary, bonus, and rewards, you could give anything. Mr. Nilikan, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I mean, the 3 factors could be, one is whether the organization is a learning organization. When a candidate comes in, the environment in the organization should be open enough to accommodate the candidate to learn. The second thing is whether the candidate gets to work and develop core competencies which are in tune with the market demand. And third could be, of course, the belongingness to the organization. I mean, how a candidate could feel proud about the organization. I mean, Pandurang pointed out a very important factor of the brand value of the organization. So the brand value will increase when it comes to the candidate feeling satisfied, not merely through the salary and everything, but with regards to numerous factors when it comes to, I mean, which goes beyond KRA and everything for the employee motivation and satisfaction.
Thank you so much. Very nicely covered.
I would like to add something here. So to your question is, if somebody is moving for the organization and hoping for the new opportunity, or would like to have some career. So recently I have seen one video on social media, which has been, from Ratan Tata, where he is guiding a youth, where, 2 words, where he's saying, you don't hire or don't look for the experience. You hire for people who have more ideas and who really want to implement those things. So if you see the experienced person, or if you see on the other side, you see a person who's a creative, who's an innovative, who will bring change. So these type of attributes, when we see, so they really will be contributing and they will be really focused towards organization goal. So I really like the way he has been guiding a youth to be higher, not for experience, but higher for those who really have a good ideas to implement, those who really generate the ideas. So I feel, and even from the student or on the other side, from the candidate perspective is, those who really passionate about for anything, they should go for that profession or that go for the organization. I think there are many candidates which I have seen. They are HR, but then today they are a business leader in the market. They are doing sales and marketing. They are become business entrepreneurs. So it's not that being education and experience, but being what you really want to see, that really matters.
Great, great. Thank you so much. Next, Mr. Rajesh, would like to share your thought?
Yeah, it is. I am continuing with this Pandurang's thoughts of employer branding. So employer branding is most important. And then job role. Most of the times there is always an infancy attrition that whatever job we have committed him or he or she, but then in reality when he comes, when he onboards in the organization, he's not getting that type of job. So that is job role is most important. And again, a sense of belongingness, how the organization, if the organization brand organization is employer is already good in the market, so salary and everything will get. And third is sense of belongingness. So the person is having sense of belongingness about the organization. Three more.
Thank you so much. Would like to go next?
Yeah, job role and job clarity. That is most important. Job clarity.
Great. In fact, I was just reading recently that a lot of people quit because they don't have job clarity. That's very, very important factor.
Yeah.
Many times our organization fail to give that confidence and clarity to people. Anybody else would like to add?
Yeah, I think freshers, those who aspiring for a new job, three things they should keep in mind before applying for any new job. That during their tenure, whatever they have learned, so they must have done some projects. If they have not done, they should do it some small projects with any of the interested sector kind of companies or whatever. If somebody wants to do a finance career, he must have done some projects. So he should be well prepared about that project, so that because they don't have experience to explain about it, and so that they can explain it properly, so that they can so it will help them to get the job. And second is, if it is possible, they should learn and understand the right decision or the clarity in which kind of industry they want to go into, make their career. Particularly if somebody wants to make his career in finance, but in which company, in banking or in insurance, but he should have that clarity. They can take help of experienced people from the industries, from the professors, or maybe people like us. They can take help of such people, so that they can make the right decision for the choosing the industry. And third is they should well prepared for the question that what value they can add for the organization when they will be a part of the organization. So these are the three things. One is attitude. Second is right decision and clarity about the industry, choosing the industry. And third is what candidate can add value for the organization. So if more or less, if they will prepared for all these three things, it will be very easy for them to get the right kind of job.
Great. So we are just a couple of minutes away from the 4 o'clock. Anybody like to add a last thought? Otherwise, I'll hand over this to Chitra. Thank you so much for being a wonderful co-panelist. And I'll conclude this. My key three things which I'll recommend for the freshers and the people, that whenever they make a move, they should be looking the purpose, whichever organization they are joining, what is the purpose behind the business, because that will lead to that future. And second thing, they should be looking at the company culture and values. And third thing, what kind of leadership if they are well qualified, ethical, and then your life will be easy, because then you can learn a lot. Because these three things they should be keeping in mind. With this note, once again, thank you, my co-panelists. Thanks everyone. Thanks all the participants. Like to hand over to Chitra. In case you have any questions from that audience, you can just ask panelists to give answer. Otherwise, we'll get in touch with them through email and then revert to them. Thank you so much. Chitra, are you there? Sandeep, you can take over
Yes,
now.
Yeah, Chitra is there. Yes. Yes, students, if you have any questions, you can ask. Any students, anyone who wants to ask any question?
Fine, Chitra ma'am, we'll go ahead with the other part of it. Yeah, and students can definitely they can get in touch with all the HR people through mail or will arrange some way by which they can ask them questions. Okay.
Yes. So I would like to request Dilip Ahir to give vote of thanks.
Okay. Good evening, all of you. Okay. This HR panel discussion was very informative. We learn a lot from this and gets a new idea regarding the digital transformations and modern hiring process. Okay. Though I am a HR faculty, I learn a lot from this discussion over here. Okay. Also, the benefits of a digital transformation recruitment for the organizations, and it is the modern technique as a tool to attract and hire the most qualified and talent for a job opening. Okay. It is my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, Dr. Dilip Ahir, on behalf of ASM Group of Institutes, express my gratitude towards our Honorable Chairman, Sir, Dr. Sandeep Pandey, and Director, Dr. Asha Pandey, Madam, to provide encouragement and support. I extend a hearty vote of thanks to the Honorable HR panelist member, that is Mr. Rajesh Matre, Mr. Basavaraj Bakali, and Mr. Pandran More, Mr. Suresh Nanavre, Ms. Meena Kulpan, Mr. Naush Dable, Mr. Nirkant Shinde, Mr. Bhim Singh Rajput, Mr. Harshal Sonamre, Mr. Rajesh Singh, Mr. Nidish Singh, and Mr. Sachin Jayagata. I am giving the special vote of thanks to Mr. Pandran More, because when I discussed this with our Arun Pandey sir, we have to conduct the HR meet, and immediately sir called Pandran sir, Pandran More sir, we require 2-3 HR persons, and very next day they have with a reference of Matre sirs, Basara sirs, and Kulkarni madam. So special thanks to Pandran More sir for you, and also very special thanks to Nidish sir also, because they are playing an important role as a moderator over here, and they make our role very simplified over here. That's a special thank Nidish sir to you.
Thank you so
Okay. Yes, and very important that all of you have contributed or shares your thoughts and present over here and took out the valuable times of their busy schedule. Thank you very much, sir. Also, I would like to extend my special thanks to Dr. Sandeep Pandey sir, Dr. Arun Pandey sir, Dr. Diksha Tripathi madam, Professor Deepika Mirchandani, Professor Chindra Nikita Sharma Madam for their work and continuous support. No program can become successful with a single person. So I extend my thanks to all the staff members for their support and thank you for making this event grand success. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Dilip Bhai, sir, thank you very much. And once again, on behalf of ASM Group, let me thank all panelists. It was a fantastic discussion, fantastic deliberation. Nidesh ji, thank you very much for moderating. Really, the essence of what exactly happens and what are the challenges when you all people are recruiting, so we could understand that it's not an easy job. It's a really very hard, and I understand when after 6 months when you train people and suddenly the person disappears. So what happens? So that agony and all those stuff we can understand. And one more thing which I just want to share it with you all, that this is the program which we have organized in collaboration with Digital HR. And this is the first program which we have started with. So we have a fairly good database as far as HR people are concerned. And very soon we are going to have similar projects, similar programs. We are going to identify very important topics which can be related to similar programs, as well as which can be of very use to students as well. Right, sir? So thank you very much once again, and we'll see you again very soon. Thank you. Good day.
Sir, before concluding, I'll request, since this program is on digital platform, can we have a digital photo?
Family agreement.
Why not?
Great.
Let's have a complete panel so that in that mode, if we can have
gallery view.
Gallery view,
yeah.
Sir, 1 minute. Can I share? 1 minute?
Yeah.
I'm proudly say that Mr. Naus Dable, he is my student. He is 11, 12, 13 batch when we were associate at Siyangar Institute. That I'm proudly say that right now he is working at IBM. That's why this is I want to say over here. And request all the
opportunity, Dr.
yes, sir. Definitely. I'm requesting for all the panel members, because on 4th May, our lectures, online lectures will be begins. So I'm requesting for all of you, please come over here and deliver your views, idea and sessions for our MBA student and PGDM students. Okay, requesting all of you. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
so
please
are we
do
going
the
to have
honors.
that gallery view picture we are going to have?
Yes. So how do we do that? Means, we have to go in gallery mode.
I have taken the screenshot. I will share the picture with all.
Okay, now we can see it, right?
Yeah.
We are in gallery mode now.
Yeah, go into the gallery mode. I'm just taking the screenshot. So smile, please. Thank you very much all. Thank you very much.